Welcome to the JCIB question and answer session for interested students. This video has been created because we do not have the ability to meet as a large group as we usually have in the past. So we wanted to take the most common questions that we have always entertained over the past years and answer those in hopes that it answers the question that you might have. Let me introduce our folks. Ms. Hall under the tree is our counselor. Lauren Brown is the MYP coordinator. Michael Cloninger is the assistant principal. And Dr. April Miller is the DP coordinator. These are the people that would typically be visiting your community and having these discussions and presentations, but we found new ways to try to communicate with everyone this year. We're going to let Ms. Hall pretend to be the parent and ask questions, and then we will answer them based on who feels the strongest about the response. All right, so let's go, Ms. Hall.
Okay, so my first question as a parent, prospective parent, what are the bus pickup locations and times? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I can tell you about our transportation. The school district provides transportation pickup points and drop-off points spread throughout our district. The transportation department will make that decision towards the beginning of the school year, but traditionally we have spots that are located all throughout the county, including McCalla, Hueytown, Pinson, Clay, Irondale, Hoover, et cetera, et cetera. So the responsibility of the parent for students who are riding the bus is to get the students to the drop-off point at the correct time and be there to pick them up at the correct time in the afternoon. But students do have the opportunity to ride buses from their or close to their zone location to both the Pleasant Grove campus and the Irondale campus.
My next question is about homework. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Will my student have homework every day or every night?
I'll respond to that one. I would expect that your student would have homework each night. The amount of homework will vary based on each child and how much time they take completing work. That varies greatly from child to child. But I would expect, starting with sixth graders, having most likely an hour to an hour and a half of homework. Some nights they may not have that much, but I would go ahead and just start out with that expectation. And then as the grades increase, the homework may increase based on that. Our belief is that a student should not have an excessive amount of homework. Certainly we have people then when they first come to IB who aren't used to doing homework. It's a difficult thing sometimes to get accustomed to that, but after a few weeks, we begin to see the time decrease for students. We don't expect that a student is spending 4 hours every night on homework. That's not healthy. So if that were a situation that you found yourself in, you would definitely need to contact an administrator or coordinator, and we would need to talk about ways of making, helping that student with some time management strategies, something to help that student not have that kind of a load. That's not the expectation.
What about sports? I have a student who loves baseball.
So we have two campuses. We have a Pleasant Grove campus that houses grades 6 through 8 and a high school campus for grades 9 through 12. Our students at the Pleasant Grove campus for grades 6 through 8 can participate in sports at their base school as long as they are able to work out those arrangements with the JCIB administration and their base school athletic coach. However, at the high school campus, our JCIB students are able to participate with Shades Valley High School athletics and any of their extracurriculars. And there's a wide range of 6A athletic and extracurricular opportunities that spans fairly wide. So if you're interested in any extracurricular at the high school level, chances are that opportunity exists.
And we also have several students who do travel leagues in various sports. And so it's not just limited to what happens at the high school. We have students who do both varsity with the high school and then also play for a travel or a community league as well.
I want to go ahead because I would think that someone's going to be wondering this, and go ahead and address it to the best of my ability about the future. The district is working towards us being on one campus in the Fultondale area. When we become a school on one campus, grades 6 through 12, we will most likely not have the major sports, football, baseball, basketball. There are a number of reasons for that, but the main reason is that with the academic focus of an IB school, our units go toward those areas that are required by IB. 7 years of foreign language. We have to have foreign language teachers starting in 6th grade. We have to have a TOEIC teacher. We have to have coordinators. So when those units that typically are put toward a coaching staff are put toward an academic staff with our school. But in spite of that, I cannot see into the future, but I do believe that we'll continue with the sports that we're able to, like our cross country. We have tennis players, we have bowling players, we've had tennis. Did I say tennis? I could see us having more sports when we get on one campus, but again, it's doubtful that we would have those major sports because we would not have a coaching staff to actually help make it a very competitive team, might be the best way of saying that. So again, I don't have a way of seeing the future, but I see us having sports opportunities, but not the major sports. I know that it started already in terms of clearing land in the Fultondale area, but I do not know that building has started there. And if it has not yet started at this time, that means that is still, if they started building tomorrow, we would still potentially be 2 years off. It would take 2 years to probably do a build, 18 months to 2 years. And then we're going to be in the remodeled Fultondale High School. So then the time needed to remodel. So it's all very uncertain about the time, but that is what the county's goal is to get us on one campus.
Is band or cheer offered at either campus?
At the high school, I'll take this one. At the high school, we have band, and the Shades Valley Band right now is comprised of over half the members are from JCIB. And we also have cheer at Shades Valley, and we have had cheerleaders from JCIB who participate as well. We are very fortunate to have a talented group of students who attend and who have a lot of musicality and coordination skills.
At the middle school, though, we do have band at the middle school, of course, and it's actually the same teacher, the band director. So that's nice to have that continuity. In terms of cheer, we do not have a cheer here. Again, that would be something in the future when we're on the same campus. I'm not sure how that will look, but I do have in my mind competition cheer, as I think it is recognized as a sport, if I'm correct, at the high school level. So that would be considered a sport that could easily count as another activity for our students. So, those types of things aren't off the table. It's just that with us, it's probably going to look different than it does at a typical high school, which I think is fine because we're not a typical high school.
Can you tell me about the class sizes? What is the student-teacher ratio?
Class sizes can be driven upon student requests, such as foreign language, which our students have the option of taking 3 different foreign languages. But class sizes will range from 15 to 27 in a class with a teacher. The important thing to remember, though, is that at JCIB, it wouldn't matter how many students are in a classroom with a teacher. Those students are high functioning, engaged, and learning is taking place at a high level, no matter how many students are in that room.
You guys mentioned foreign languages. Can you tell me again how many foreign languages are offered, and are they the same at both campuses?
Yes, we have 3 foreign languages, French, German, and Spanish, and those languages are offered on both campuses for the entire continuum of the IB program that we have at JCIB. In 6th grade, students take all 3 languages on a carousel, as well as an introduction to IB course that starts to explain to them some of the language and lingo that we use in our courses and the way that they learn. So 6th grade is a carousel with an IB learner class. And then in 7th grade, they can choose a language and stay with that language throughout. In 8th grade, they will take level 1 of whatever language they choose, and then continue with that on through the high school and the DP. Dr. Miller, would you like to talk about some of the nuances of the language choices that happen in the DP?
Sure. As you said, Ms. Brown, we have the 3 languages, and the students choose in 7th grade, and they are going to stay with that foreign language, or what IB refers to as language acquisition, throughout their career at JCIB. So by the time they graduate, they will be able to read, write, think, and be able to speak a second, and some of them a third language. This is important for college applications. It provides a very secure foundation for continuing their studies, and most or many colleges require foreign language at least 2 years in order for admission. They're looking for that on their transcript. So we have students who are very well versed in not just the grammar and the syntax, but also in the culture and the ideas. It's part of the international mindedness that IB promotes, that we are helping to secure for our students and also for our community.
For each year that my student is in attendance at JCIB at either campus, will they need to apply each year?
The short answer to that question is no. Once students are admitted into the IB program, they remain in the IB program. However, we do have requirements for each of our students, which are academic and behavioral requirements. Our students are required to maintain a 3.0 weighted GPA and also excellent behavior. And that also holds true moving between campuses. Like I said earlier, we have a 6-8 campus and then a 9-12 campus. Students who are in good standing move from 8th grade at Pleasant Grove to the Shades Valley Irondale campus for 9th grade. And then they also transition from the middle years program, which is grades 6 through 10, into the diploma program, which is grades 11 and 12. And there are some requirements that are outside of that 3.0 that we'll speak about later, such as the personal project and successfully completing that. But the short answer is yes. The more involved answer is there are some additional requirements that students must complete.
I've been hearing a little bit about activity schedule and clubs. What exactly is that, and when is it offered?
We have a variety of clubs depending on which campus you're looking at. For the high school, we will run an activity schedule about once every 2 or 3 weeks. 4 clubs, and these are clubs that will meet during the school day, but we also have clubs that meet after school. And so there is a lot to choose from. These are driven by student interest. We have things such as future problem solvers, science Olympiad, and debate that take place after school. During school, we have things like, you can edit that,
Guitar.
diamond balls, sports. What?
We have guitar club.
We have guitar, we have book club. It really depends and varies from year to year. Those clubs that are not necessarily competitive or team-based, and we had a dance club, and they would practice on the second floor hallway. And they would also watch dance videos. We had a cosmetology club. So it just sort of depends at the high school. But the end schedule happens maybe once a month or so. Afternoon clubs meet on a more frequent basis, depending on the club itself.
The clubs, after school clubs, are mirrored pretty much here at the middle school as well. They have the future problem solvers. We have a very active debate club. We have robotics. We have a drama club, math club, science Olympiad. And then we have the interest clubs as well that are usually done during the activity period near the end of the day, once a month. I think sometimes it's been bi-monthly. We've not had those this year for obvious reasons, but typically it'll be bi-monthly or monthly for the interest clubs, and then the sponsors of the after-school clubs would share that information, and they will have to be picked up. That's one thing that parents need to understand. If they're staying at an after-school club, they would typically stay an hour to an hour and a half, so pick up at 4 or 4:30. Parents would have to come to the school to pick the student up then.
I have a student who's been into art ever since the 4th grade. Can you tell me a little bit about the electives you offer at both campuses?
Sure. So the MYP is a little bit different than a traditional school because they actually require every student to have art. And not only art, but they require you to have an introduction to both visual art and performing art in grades 6 through 8. However, at the Pleasant Grove campus, we offer performing art with band and choir. We also offer visual art. We have career tech opportunities, and we also have your foreign language choices as well, which are requirements, but are often considered electives.
At the high school, as far as electives go, we have 5 IB electives that correlate with the IB curriculum in visual arts, social and cultural anthropology, psychology, chemistry, and environmental systems. We also have other electives that are taught by our JCIB staff, including the Bible as literature, creative writing.
We have a course we designed called Research and Design and Biology.
Research and Design and Biology.
We also have AP courses that are electives, AP Computer Science, AP Environmental Systems. We have courses, just environmental science on its own that's not at the AP level if students want something. We have a lot of courses that students can choose from. With IB, we have some courses that are mandated. They have to take these courses. And we have then other courses that can supplement that. And there are also courses that students have to take in the high school in order to get the diploma from the state of Alabama. A student who goes through grades 9 through 12 at JCIB is going to earn the Alabama high school diploma and earn more credits than necessary and have met more of the requirements than are necessary by being a member of the JCIB school.
And Counterpane.
And
I like that.
Counterpane, which is our literary and arts magazine.
Lots of options is the thesis of that. Lots of options for JCIB students.
As a parent, I'm looking forward to getting involved in supporting the IB community. Can you tell me how I can do that?
At the middle school, we have a PTO, and that, of course, serves our Pleasant Grove campus 6 through 8. At the 9 through 12 high school campus, we have an ABC, that's an academic booster club that's been functioning there for many, many years. The PTO here, of course, is relatively new, but is active and very, very helpful to us. Both of them are wonderful groups to be part of and help us with a number of things that we could not do without them, especially for students, and then also some things for teachers that are sponsored by those groups. So they're both available to participate in and to do a lot of good for us.
What do I need to do to apply for the 21-22 school year?
So I'm happy to answer that question for you. If you've heard a lot of this information and you think that JCIB may be a good place for you to be, or for your child to be, we are currently accepting applications for rising 6th graders through rising 11th graders. Applications open in November, and completed application needs to be submitted to us by January 28th. We recently released a video giving you some information on the IB, and it included some of these steps, but I want to go over that application process with you so you have a thorough understanding of really what we're looking at when it comes to accepting students into JCIB's IB program. We're looking at the students holistically, and so we have a wide range of things that we're looking at, such as teacher recommendations, and we're looking at a recommendation from that student's English or history teacher, and a recommendation from that student's science or math teacher. Students have to write a brief essay on a learner profile prompt where they are discussing themselves as learners, discussing themselves as thinkers, really being open about who they are, and so we can get a better look at who students are in written form. We're getting the counselor's reports from their current school, and we're looking at previous year's grades, we're looking at their behavior, we're looking at their attendance, we're looking at their profile as a student. And lastly, we're looking at standardized scores. And this part is going to be most different this upcoming year than it has been in the past. Typically, most of our students who apply complete Scantron or some other standardized assessment that's across the board for Jefferson County students and most students across the state of Alabama. However, this year we are transitioning to using the Edmentum diagnostic, and this holds true for students who are both in district and out of district. In the near future, we're going to be releasing some information on some testing locations or testing sites where students can report to complete that Edmentum diagnostic. We're going to gather that data and we'll add that data to each student's application so we can complete that application. But, like I said, applications are open now and they close January 28th. It's not something that you want to do at the last minute, especially that counselor's report, because that counselor has several things that they need to gather and it does take them some time. So please, have that application ready to be dropped off for the last part, which is the counselor's piece, at least a week or two before January 28th, so they have time to get everything in order and sent to us, and then make sure that you report to your assigned location for your Edmentum diagnostic testing if you are applying. We have to have the application in its entirety by January the 28th so we can give it a fair and objective score.
There's one question we didn't ask, and I'm going to ask it in each person. I'd like for you to answer this with your own words. Why does my student even need to go to an IB school? What's what's the point? What are the advantages? What do they get out of this that they would not normally get at any other school?
I would like to answer that because I feel that every student belongs in a certain school, and IB is not for every student. However, we do have a very select group of individuals who really thrive in the IB environment and who really, really love the academic challenge. If you enjoy an academic challenge, if you have a strong work ethic, if you are willing to put forth the effort, the IB program can be a really great environment for you. And, IB is different. And MYP and DP are different. Our curriculum focuses on real world connections, on contextualized education. It focuses on conceptual understanding. It focuses on inquiry, student inquiry and teacher inquiry as well. And it focuses on reflection. The IB is more so of a process of learning. There's a continuum of learning that is taking place grades 6 through 12. And that's really unique because a lot of times in schools, learning is in isolation. What you do in 6th grade may not necessarily translate to 12th grade. And in JCIB, we have that vertical and horizontal articulation in place so that our students can develop and grow not only content knowledge, but skill sets over time. Our goal is to holistically develop the student, not just focus on their academic development.
I'd like to piggyback off Mr. Cloninger in that, yes, at IB, how and why you learn is as important as what you learn. I agree with him that IB is a special place for a special kind of learner, and that the bar is set high. But we also recognize that there are multiple types of giftedness. The IB is there to develop you holistically as the whole person, as he said. And there's a service element to that. There is learning your place in the world and leaving the world a better place than the one that you found or the one that you grew up in. That is central to what we do. And I agree that it takes not only a special kind of learner, but a special kind of heart to feel at home in that and to grow and thrive in that environment. But if that is meant for you, if you are meant for that, it can change your world. I've seen IB change students' whole lives for the better, if it's meant for you.
The level of preparation that they get here is far and above what they might get somewhere else, and it's not just because it's part of what we do as faculty, it's what the students do. They come to prepare for college. 100% of our students are accepted into a 4-year college, and they go on to places near and far. But we have students who work very hard through high school to prepare for college life, and colleges are aware of the type of student that the IB curriculum and programs produce, and they reward that student often with scholarships that help meet some, most, and all of their college costs. It's very heartwarming to see students who've worked so hard have this payoff in that way for them.
One of the things that I've noticed in my time here, and I think everyone will agree, is that oftentimes students that are very, very good students sometimes have a little bit of a fear of doing something different and leaving friends that they've always known, leaving a school that's the only place they've ever known, and going to a place they've never seen or a place they're unfamiliar with. That's a pretty big step for a kid, especially for a fifth grader, and even for ninth graders. And because of that, we have some mentoring in place because we realize that kids coming in need something to hold on to. They need a face that's familiar to them. So we try to do the things that we can to make this transition easy. But part of the fear is the fear of failing. And I think as adults, we have that same fear in any kind of new endeavor. But that's part of IB it is being a risk taker. It's trying something. It's putting yourself in a place that's not completely comfortable with the understanding that that's how we learn best, is we try something, and if it doesn't work out perfectly, we reflect on it and we go at it from a different angle. That's part of what we are about. So if your child is hesitant, we certainly don't want you to force this issue with the child. If they're not the ones wanting to be here, they don't force that, because it is work and they're the ones that are going to be doing it. But if they just need a nudge of you saying that, look, it might be hard, it might be difficult, you might not make straight A's there. You've always made straight A's in school. You may not make that at IB, but that's okay, because you're going to be learning. And part of learning is failing at times and coming back and regrouping and moving forward. I think that's a wonderful life lesson that every student gets eventually. Most often they get it as a freshman in college. Everything's just sort of moved up in IB. So that would be something that I feel like, the parent, as a parent, you need to understand that and share that with your child. And it's sometimes difficult once your child has been that straight A student since kindergarten. And I'm not saying that they won't be. We have students that continue to be straight A students. Absolutely, they are. But we also have students that they hit a little bit of a wall when they come in, and they have to adjust to that. And we don't want that to say you don't belong here. That's not what that means. That just means that the rigor, maybe the learning has gone up. And that's typically when we learn the most, quite frankly, is when we experience some failure. So that would be my thought.
So from the counselor's perspective, parents, I think if your student has a natural love for learning, they are curious, inquirers, open-minded, and reflective in their work practices, this is the best place for your student to learn and grow to excel here, high school, and beyond.
I want to thank everyone for your input. And again, please look for the information at the end of this. If you want to contact one of us, we will be happy to answer any question that you might have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.